Right.
Okay, in the total event display example, they managed to do that, right?
Because
So
we
can
use
rotate
total event display when we do the Unity stuff. You know total event display?
No.
How is it possible?
So what's the?
He's the
your
guy from
your
Atlas.
visualization is in total event display.
Yeah,
Total
but
event
very-
display.
So it's Joao picking now.
Right.
No, but he was. No, I know. But he's in the Media Lab,
I'm talking the event display.
and he built an event display where there is all the experiments now that are represented. But it's not a physicist event display.
I know.
It's really outreach.
Yes, okay.
It's an
No,
outreach.
okay.
And for there, flying through the detector, this is great.
No, but
Yeah,
in this case, we are not flying through. I mean, it's
No,
exactly the same view as the one we have in Alice.
Yes.
Maybe you
I
could
mean,
show it.
you have the detector, you have collisions.
I mean, he made it in 3D Max or something, right?
Sorry?
He made it in
It's
3D Max or
Unity.
something. In Unity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The model
actually,
they-
I talked to him some time ago when I was starting my thing, and he gave me a model of Atlas. And actually, what he did is he tessellated it at the worst scale and then cut it, cut the vertical cut through the middle of it, through the cavern, through everything. I mean, it's fine for these kind of visualizations for media.
Absolutely.
But
It's also our feeling. I mean, we were the last ones, I think, in the experiments.
But what's
join.
wrong? Sorry, what is it lacking for event display? That's what I want to.
It's
So,
Your opinion.
So actually,
I mean-
don't know. The version which we use is nothing except the visualization itself. No
Okay.
cuts, no track selections,
Yeah,
no
sure.
screenshots. There's nothing except the
and
visualization.
geometry is not really the aligned or.
And when we said we have the
yeah.
proper geometry, he laughed and he said, well, it's just for outreach people will not notice. Okay, but the geometry is fine.
So, so what I'm concerned with is the technologies that we're going to use and whether they're going to be like, for example, if Unity Engine or what is the thing that you use? Unreal Engine. If these things are fine, or if this is a good technological basis for building event displays, then we're fine. But if it's not, then we have to somehow manage to get the underlying technology. For us, Inventor is fine, but it's 30 years old.
I mean, I think that we have to go with one of game engines. It's what you put inside. It has to be proper. Yeah?
Right. So
but
what do they
you-
lack? Is the question for
What
us.
do they lack?
I think they lack
Nothing.
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 I like
Nothing.
nothing.
This is the engine that lacks.
What's that?
It's not the engine that lacks something.
Well,
Yeah,
okay, but this
you
is
have the-
semantics, right? I mean, I'm looking at a lot of packages and I find that they don't have an examiner viewer, which doesn't mean, it means that you have to furnish that.
What
Things,
do you call examiner viewer?
the thing where you pick up and
Yeah.
that gives you the knobs and the functionality to basically look at the thing that you want to look at from all angles instead of flying through it or just having
But I think that
Everything has that. Yeah.
everything has that. So what?
Yes.
There's a class for that in your game engine, or
So I mean, you have to see how it's very different way of thinking, whole different architecture about it, how you do things. You use static meshes for geometries and stuff like that.
meshes.
So these are basically all game engines just work with triangles at the end.
But then this is something that's
Now what they build on top of that is there are all kind of plugins and things that you can add on top of it.
right.
And
I would say this is something that then lacks is that if you have to really describe everything in terms of triangle meshes,
So-
that you have some work to do in order to get
all of it. So there is no game engine which just does objects
Yeah.
as objects.
Right.
Everything has to be tessellated.
right. So I think this is the big deal that and if
Yeah,
we're looking
yeah,
at
yeah.
writing common software, then you have to deal with somehow with that.
I mean, thing is that today nothing gonna be fast if you want to tessellate things in real time. I mean, you cannot represent things as objects. Something has to do tessellation. Now, either you do it at compile time or you do it afterwards.
Right. But this
In
is
real time.
exactly the thing that you have already in Open Inventor is that you describe things in terms of scene graphs and it renders it for you.
Yeah.
So So this is my point: is what do we need for the future? If there are pieces of technology that I've taken this for granted in the past because I haven't had to deal with that plus the viewer. So now the question is, do we need to, write something app specific for that if our future is game engines, or do we need to work with industry in order to?
I mean, they are industry. Game engines are the
I know,
industry.
but I mean, if it's lacking something, do we need to, propose ourselves to the
So
people who are
what
going to?
they are lacking is, or that anybody lacks basically, is adaptive mesh detail level. And that's also what we are lacking. It's not so trivial to change detail level for
Right.
automatically when, for example, you zoom in and you want to now see individual wires. It's not easy to
Well, for
provide.
example, this is another thing that you had an open inventor, which is called level of detail.
Yeah, I mean, you have also level of detail here. You can put any number of them you have, and it will automatically change depending on your distance and stuff like that. Yeah. But
I never used it because it drove me crazy to see things changing as I was zooming in on them.
I
Maybe
mean,
it could be implemented better, but
it is basically the same thing. But what I would like to see there, what I think we should provide as a community, not only for one experiment but for all, is way to provide this dynamically and 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 quickly and in a format which will satisfy everybody. To provide geometry online, for example. Now you, like 10 years, we don't know that the monitor is going to exist here. If we are planning for 10 years here, if we are discussing 10 years, there is no guarantee that there are going to be monitors. Maybe they're going to be gone way of CRTs.
and what are we going to have instead?
Maybe all going to be glasses. Maybe all going to be mobile phones. I don't know. 10 years is really long time.
In the control room, we will have a big screen.
The problem with the big screen, that's for sure.
On that.
I would.
Because you
I
have
would.
20
I would.
operators and they need to look at the same thing.
I would be very surprised. So I think if we are thinking, we should think like about basic stuff. How do we provide geometry online to whatever device it, and that it's automatically already aligned. If they change alignment now in 1 month, that we don't have to do some complicated procedure. You want all of these things to be delivered online.
Well, we spent a lot of time making sure we could get aligned geometry, and now the first thing I want to do when I do an event display is to turn it off because of the access time and the initialization time to get down.
Yeah. So
and you're not worried about a wafer being 10 microns off. You're really not.
We need system like Google Map, where
we need,
Google
yes,
Map is much simpler stuff, but
right. No,
you are
this,
just
this
zooming, and you are getting everything fast.
Oh well.
Fast enough.
The data format is rather different, right?
Yeah, it's much
We're
more
not talking
complicated.
about about flat images with different layers of detail on it.
Yeah.
About 3D stuff.
Yeah. But we have more handles to it, because now when we have objects, if we are starting from objects, we can, for example, have a database online somewhere, a big one, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Where you could have every single screw already tessellated. And big things tessellated in multiple different sizes. And you get immediately just tessellated things.
It's huge though.
It doesn't matter. Database online can be huge. What is important is that you transport small things.
Look, there's some experience with this. The network latency has gone down, but it used to be that if you wanted to do OpenGL over the network, you'd have GLX underneath it, and that would send not pixels across the network, but triangles.
Yeah.
That would drive anybody crazy to use that. To put the network, rather than sending dimensions of cylinders and things like this to send the tessellated image across, this is not what the performance would be terrible.
I mean, we can do all kinds of tests. At the end, we can, if we agree on format, we can send objects.
I think we're going
and then tessellate them, but then it has to be done on the engine.
But this I don't think is a huge. Okay, now this
But
I did bring it
whatever.
up in the white paper discussion that detector description is something that overlaps with this very much.
Yeah.
There's a language for detector description. It's good. It's universal. It's better.
I mean, to tell probably we don't have to reinvent. Somebody is, or maybe we have to reinvent. Maybe nobody did it. But then we can, if we make it nice, we can sell it to Boeing, to GE, to whomever. Yeah?
Well, maybe. I mean, you could come to my poster, our poster on geometry description and geometry
I have it in my bag.
persistentification.
But coming back to what you were saying about screens, if we use a game engine, we alleviate this problem because we can see with Unity as soon as there is a new device, they provide a way to just reuse. You have your code and you generate instead of iOS and Android, you generate for Google classes.
Yeah,
But that's big advantage of using game engines or game engines. I mean Unity or Unreal. As long as you know that you can click a button and get it on a website or mobile devices, computers,
or Xbox or whatever. Yeah, you just click the button. In 5 minutes, you have.
So then, in 10 years, we don't have screens. We don't see really this.
Yeah, exactly. Like this VR stuff.
We will adapt. Maybe there will be different ways of interacting with the things.
So I made it for Oculus and test only on Oculus because I don't have Vive. But then guy in UK, he has Vive. He just downloaded, tested, it works.
So then I think that the thing that's probably missing from this, if this is the way we do it, is scene graph technology. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Scene graphs are the ways people describe scenes in terms of geometrical objects against hierarchies in a way which basically saves memory because you can share instances and there's reference counting.
Yeah.
And then the tessellation, the layer that I'm used to working with is exactly what does the tessellation, which renders that in OpenGL. Okay, so one possibility is.
So what is roughly level of compression that we get in Atlas just by saving only references to objects which repeat?
Well,
because
I can tell you this with the
everything is
geometry
very
because it's actually in the poster.
Yeah, but
because what we
this
did
is
was,
factor 10.
I mean, we get all of the geometry into what is it, 36 megabytes. Yeah.
But that's like, yeah, that includes materials or not.
And I think we haven't put in there's very few elements which are used, so this is trivial. And that we haven't persistified yet with the description of what's in copper, but that's not very much. Lead and a few things like that. But this depends very much on the people who sit down to describe this. How much, number one, how much symmetry they've assumed. Number two, how much they've used the tricks that we've provided for them to keep the memory under control.
So this is not really automatically kind of.
You have to be smart when you're building the scene graph. In other words, if there's a silicon wafer that you're going to put in 100,000 places, you better not put. It's wasteful to create 100,000 if you can just specify where it goes.
Yeah.
And if you can share the instance of that thing, which is just repeatedly placed. I mean, some people do that, some people don't. But I remember that Vaco.
Have you looked at it? Have you seen that people were doing nasty stuff? Because I've seen physicists doing really nasty stuff. Like,
yeah, we look at it in the sense that we monitor the memory and the CPU time, and it's like 4 seconds. You probably think that starting the Atlas software takes a long time, but it's 4 seconds to instantiate the geometry. And when we're done, it gives us in memory, it gives us about 100 megabytes. And I know people aren't using all the tricks, but that's not a big. When your magnetic field map is a gigabyte, it's not an issue.
One thing that I find hard in is using stem algorithm. So they are some quite good packages to work with. is the YAML.
Which
What
library
kind
would
of
you like to
libraries?
use? For example, also
No, forget about it.
no, no, in order to visualize experiments objects, you have to access the framework.
So what we did in this case is we cut this connection.
Yeah.
Basically, we use a web, an
Yes.
HTTP connection with defined format
Yeah.
on the wire,
Okay.
so that you don't have any
This
dependency.
is the file sampling, and you stream it
We convert our geometry to Collada file. We convert our events to JSON files.
Okay.
And we stream that to Unity.
Okay.
I think
It's what we did for our.
Yeah.
so. I think that we should really try to avoid any external dependencies, because as soon as you do that, you lose everything. You lose first possibility to carry it to future devices, and you lose possibility to carry it outside of your experiment. So for just outreach or
And I mean, it's both ways, because in our case, we are doing this effort now, but when you open the data and the geometry as a web service, then other people can use it as well, even in the public and for other applications. So this is nice from the both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to argue it the other way around. Actually, we have two event displays in Atlas, and three, whatever, however you want to count. But one of them has an exchange format and can run basically anywhere. But the drawback of that is they don't have access to the same thing that somebody who's doing the analysis has access to.
Yes. Now that can also
other words,
change.
The event display that we work on runs inside of Athena and sees the physics objects that people use to analyze, which is so anything you're gonna cut on.
But you know when Athena gonna run on Windows? Never.
Yeah, I know. That's the cost.
So
Yeah.
you have access
But-
We
to
have
full, if you're running it, you can run in a mode where you're running a full framework
But
mode,
we are
for
Yeah.
lack of a better term.
That's right.
So the interface that you have is the same interface that someone writing the code would have.
Well, there's a graphical user interface so that people can interact with the display,
Right.
but the objects inside of the code that you're interacting with are the tracks and the hits and the geometry and any database constants you need and
Right.
any trigger masks that are there. And on the other hand, the Atlantis guys, what they interact with are circles, squares, geometrical things. So if you want to do something like any sort of an operation on what's in the display, I guess the thing is people always say this is useless, but people say select tracks and fit the common vertex. Practically no use case for really doing that, but it gives you that's an example.
So one thing is that when how you get events to the system. And one way is you just like if you want that.
So this is where
we
for example,
that again breaks the
before we convert,
separation.
or
Yeah,
should we
but I
So I
provide full description of
actually I'm going to present on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Is the way, so I'm working on indexing
the external
all the
application.
information into Elastic, and you can search for these events.
So at the moment we just propagate tracks on
Get
our
any
sites
things
using
from
our
these events
framework,
that you
and then
want,
what we
and
send
you get
is polylines.
What we're going to do, I
describing
think,
tracks.
So sorry, where are you guys from?
we're going to. There's a thing called the event service, which should be able to give you a single event.
So
Yes.
the thing is,
Now,
And we should be able to select that and just get that.
exactly. So
That
my
would be
thing
fast
is,
as well.
no, so let's say
we were
based
doing
on
all the propagation
tag data. Now tag data
Now that
is
we have,
already
we are planning to have an external
is to have
of those.
apparently
Okay, we have to
10
Tens of minutes. That's better than 3 days. What it used to.
yeah.
Yeah, because what we do, well, I mean, like, I think it's a similar, I don't know if it's a similar situation in
be
analysis,
able
but I know
to give you
in CMS is similar to what
Yeah, it should be like
where there's at
Google
least
Maps.
two
You want it to be like
ways.
Google
Might
Maps.
be more.
Yeah.
Run an event number and then within
Yeah, I think it's
about
everyone
5
likes
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
I don't see why.
Exactly. And there is no
I used to
reason
work on
why not to provide
the one-
what
well,
I actually go with. This is
depending on how you count them, I've worked on maybe 5
Just
on CMS. I don't
if you
know,
now create your own
Um,
event,
but the two that are
you
kind
could
of there now
run
are
this
one
small
that I
piece
work
of
on,
code, and
which is
if you
more on
send it to
non-framework
the
side, which
under
is
your name,
just in the browser
and you have your event.
using WebGL.
You
So
construct it
we kind of
Yeah.
do
settings,
something like
you can
in the sense where we have
Right.
and
CMS framework code
send it there.
that's
you
sort
But
of
I'm surprised
separate
Atlas
that
hasn't solved
writes
this
out
problem.
events
I think that
in a JSON format that we have.
this
So it's
problem of getting, we have
there's
this
a
huge
mapping of,
distributed database, and
CMS
for some
software
reason,
objects to a
well, the
JSON
one that
object.
contains all of our
And it's the information that's required
all
for
of our
drawing, but
ESDs
also
and our
kinematic
data.
information like
Music,
PT
so
and these sort of
we
things if
have-
you want to do PT cuts.
So we can work.
And then, like for example, for
And then-
tracks,
and then
um,
tag database is-
No, but I mean the actual
in
hardware.
HBase,
all the hard, I mean, a lot of the
event
hard
data
work
is what
is
I'm talking about.
done in the
Event
framework,
data.
and then
it's in
where-
ordinary root file.
I know,
Mu
but
on,
then you
for
can look at it
example,
as the
we just
database, the
write out the
file sitting on
information
the
that's
grid
sufficient for
everywhere.
polylines.
Yeah, how do
these
you
sort of
get the root
things.
file which
For tracks of the
in
tracker,
Czechia on this server?
It's
Well,
simple
it should
enough
be
to
simple to, I mean,
to
maybe
have the
not every
innermost and outermost state
QCD event, but
so that you
but
know
every Higgs
where the
candidate,
magnetic
for
field is already
example,
kind of
you would
baked
think
in.
that there would be a way
And so
that if you wanted to have that event
you
on your
draw
computer
a,
in 10 seconds, that, that this should be
Bezier
possible.
spline or
I mean, you,
something
you
like
cannot
that,
open the
that's sufficient
them root
to
file
show
in
the
10 seconds.
curvature. And that's it. I mean, I wouldn't want to get. Well,
Well,
I certainly didn't want to get.
I mean, how do you
you know,
get 4
helix
gigabyte file
propagation.
from,
You know,
from place
so-
in Czechia?
Yeah, but a 4
I mean,
gigabyte file isn't one event. This is
No,
But I mean,
because
our
our
use
events are
case is
stored
different because
in 4 gigabyte
we're
files.
not
We are not storing them
something where
in
you want to
one
run
event
in
file.
full
Well, why-
framework
I mean,
mode,
you
which
should.
you can, and
should
the other
be.
events.
We already
Yeah.
have data sets
Where you want it.
which are
You know, you're really
hundreds
close to the
of
analysis.
thousands
structure.
in
Yeah,
one
but-
data set.
For us,
And
it's
this
fine. I'm not saying every single
Make
event,
images
but
for the
the
public,
events with
have the
a
public use
subsample,
it,
which the ones which
and make it
are
very
showing
light.
up in important
and you can run it
analyses should be
completely
accessible.
client-side.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you should be able
so
to put
you're
your.
just-
you could do that.
It's
Nobody
just,
did.
JSON.
I know, this is the thing. I'm thinking, why not? And now
Well-
they're talking. You know, what's driving the event service now is that people want to be able to wake up very quickly because they're working on a machine where they're only using the opportunic cycles.
Yeah,
And,
I know all
lots
about
of
it. But, you know, it's, I mean, type data.
Is there any technical difficulties
This I think we should
send all the information you need to the
somehow solved.
What is specific in
But I can get a film from Netflix on my
This is the last part.
on my
well,
monitor
it's
fast.
very,
But
very, very different problem.
I know it is, but I don't see why it's a difficult problem. And
I mean,
Yeah.
yes,
What
it's,
would prevent
it's,
it from
so it's things like indexing. They per event they have 1,300 bytes stored in Hadoop. So
If it was
Hadoop,
designed
now you
from
look
the
up
beginning
things
for that.
in HBase and then you go to
Yeah.
Hadoop and then you
Um,
run not with your
I mean,
jobs.
I think it's just-
these are jobs. run
Well, okay, so
on 20 different
I think it's just
machines.
packaging it up.
And
Really good, right? I mean,
and
because
then
you have
you
at
can find
least
some
root
the file
as
and
an external
then you
library that you
can
need.
find get some
easier.
file which can be anywhere.
But why do you need
100 megabytes
visualize and
to 40 bring it in and then
if you wanted to
like
open
you never you just can't.
Yeah. I mean, because
Even if
this
you do
is,
everything
don't see why
perfect,
they're
yeah, because this,
Even
this
if you do everything perfect.
the other event display,
different.
which is
Once you
you know,
start
it reads
delivering,
in
once
CMS
you go through the
software format, which is
now
a
you
root
want to analyze
format,
data set.
right? So you need that. You also need the you know, at least the minimal parts of the CMS framework that allows
It's
you to
fine
read the
because
root
you
files.
now want to process
then,
a full data set. You
know,
find this
do this sort of thing. So when it's packaged,
and then you quickly
currently,
deliver single events to different
it's,
work. That works.
you know, packaged to
Fine.
the
Now you can
physicists.
quickly
You know, it's
send
bound
it
up.
once you have
Well, I don't
all
really
that.
see
and
what
then
the issue is here
distributed in a
because
target.
you know we're running in the control
So,
room
you know,
now
there's
and
one
we're
for Mac
skimming
for
off
this
events
version of
that are coming.
CMSSW.
And this thing works in BP1 Live, and it's
Whatever
really,
Linux.
you know,
this
it's
version of
really
CMSSW.
as fast
And
as
that's
you need it
what
to
you
be.
use.
So the question is just,
for us,
I really don't see that it's a big. I mean, I understand it requires work, it requires rethinking, it requires thinking about your event, you know, your collection of events, not as something where you're just going to be, processing this the way we usually do with you, where you're going to be randomly accessing the events and then you just an update or something. I thought that that's what this was going to do with the event service was only what we were going to do.
I mean, that was really for the quickly changing on.
Yeah. Well, I think we have another use case of it is people want to look at those events, drill down into the events and look at it with an event display.
Well, that part.
Sure, it'll be
I think it would maybe it would be possible to
Okay.
So,
So
what are we discussing now?
Yeah.
Should we rejoin the
Yeah,
discussion?
maybe.
Guys, what are we discussing now?
Yeah,
We got
visualization.
two sessions. Well,
yeah, because we are focused on the main general view. So we are discussing what we need for a common community. And one issue was the access to root files, because our event
so do we want to go with root files, or we want to go with
I don't know, but
with a way
if you want to open a data file to see what's inside that our files are all in so yeah,
You need to think more in terms of
format
Yeah.
is
So I don't think that. I mean, if we add root, we immediately limit ourselves to certain platforms. We get the dependency on root. They change something, then you break everything.
no, but not the full root
Rudaio.
but yeah,
Look, even just for us,
yes.
yeah.
You need to think about these things not in terms of, we have this, we need this piece and this piece and that piece, but you need to think of it in terms of the types of functionality you need, input, output. I wouldn't say
Yeah, but yeah.
that I would phrase it like that and not saying we need to have the interface to root, although surely we also need to have that.
I have problem with delivering our data files, because our data files, first, immediately, if you want to take anything from our data files, you need root, and then you need Atlas libraries to be able to decode
No.
things.
No. If you use only the final LDs, it's only two files. So it's it's plain files.
But it might not. I mean,
Use,
I think you can't just think about, your event display if you're looking at trying to figure out what the environment for event displays is going to be in 10 years. There's going to be, more than one programs in the ecosystem. With, from
yes,
more
but,
than,
but the issue is how do you use event display on experiment files? Whatever format
right.
They
I just wouldn't
have
use them.
yes.
I would always rely on service, either event service or indexed in Elasticsearch or whatever.
Sure.
I would not really go with an option of transporting files. Imagine now I'm on my phone, 5 years in advance, Nexus 11, and I have LTE which gives me megabytes per second, but now I have to download 4 gigabyte file to get one event from it.
No, but this is not the use case that is being discussed.
In Alice, and I think that in other experiments as well, we have at least 2 event displays at the moment.
Yeah.
The expert one and the outreach one, right?
Yep.
And now the question is if we want to merge them or not,
Voilà. I think it's what it's.
right? you want to merge them, then in the unified event display, you need to have all the features which expert might need, like trigger class selections, track selections, cuts, and so on. For that, you may need more information than what we have at the moment in our converted JSON files.
Is
But-
there any reason not to have just one complex one and you know outreach people?
So that's the question.
Outreach,
Yeah.
like
There may be a reason.
I don't want to dumb down things. Let's say.
No, but people will make these choices in the future, and I think the thing that you need to do is think about, the kind of infrastructure you need to bring, and not start to restrict people's choices now. You may not want a 4 gigabyte file, but I think in the future there's people who are going to want a 4 gigabyte file.
Yeah, so the thing
Unless
is
your
that
thing is so superior that there's just no competition for, there's just no room for any other way of visualizing the data. But I don't see that. It won't happen, even within one experiment. I don't think.
what was the
You're not going to have just one style of event display. If you're thinking about the future, you need to think about not only what you personally might need to build the thing that you're thinking of building, but other choices
So maybe now we are starting really from the bottom, from the base. Do we want one framework for building for all experiments, or we want still to go with every experiment its own?
That will probably happen anyway.
Yeah. I think what you want to do is to provide infrastructure for building event displays, and maybe even a.
So what would be the
I think
common infrastructure?
I think that any idea where you have one framework to rule them all is just not going to happen in the experiments.
Yeah.
I mean, even within the experiments, it doesn't happen.
No,
I mean,
right.
Which is pity.
and
But
it
it
depends
covers
on your
all of the
pers-
needs that way. We
Yeah.
manage.
Yeah, I think that indicates that within the experiments there are the different use cases and different ways of cracking those particular nuts, to do it, and it reflects that, I think. But I
there are
mean,
some common
And
parts.
then this
Yeah,
is visualization. Yeah. It's not that every experiment does its Jan for itself.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, and we are very different when it comes
Yeah.
to that.
But I mean, one could imagine something where it's in an experiment, you have this use case, like say you want to have university students be able to look at events and learn a bit about particle physics, for example, right? It'd be good to have to not have to write it from scratch and have some, best practices or recommended libraries or even something that does the things so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, so.
Toolkits.
Yeah.
Toolkits for visualization, and there's some which are on the market. There's some stuff that we probably are going to use. Certain solutions we may need to provide others that could be common software. I think we should sort of think of a diagram of what is an event display, and say it needs this item and this item and this item, and not trying to tie it to different things like.
But shouldn't we just start with the requirements? Because
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
if you have several event displays in experiments and between experiments, it's also for historical reasons. I mean, it came quite late in use also the facilities to do the displays and stuff like that. So I would still try to aim at a unique one that people can form from, that in the strong basic formats for. I mean, you can serve basic formats of events and geometry common ones. And then you have an event display that can be used by any experiment, I mean, not only LHC ones. It's always the same thing. You have geometry, and you have an event format, and then you have different types of elements in this event. But you can very easily cover 90% of the things.
Yeah, the danger here is when we put in the flexibility to do, all the different styles of event displays, you wind up with something which is a big framework, and the danger is that the framework gets in the way. For example, Geant 4 visualization. If you remember, there was Dawn, there was Open Inventor, there was OpenGL, I think was one of them, and it wasn't too useful because it was all this. You could plug in this or you could plug in that, and I think that nobody uses it anymore. Actually, I think it just was a cumbersome and not very high
Hell,
performance
even
system.
root has its own visualization.
Yeah.
Which nobody, I haven't seen something like that.
Yeah, somebody did it in CDF and just not so convincing.
Just that it seems really a big waste that the experiment has to. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah,
We are
I think
looking at
it's
it, it's
waste.
not something significant.
Well, to look on the positive side, I mean, you do pick up pieces of software like game engines, geometry engines from the commercial world,
Yeah.
and you know, a long time ago, I did a thing which is called HepViz, and what this was taking the objects that you could put in a scene graph for Open Inventor and adding to that called like SO cube, SO sphere. I added SO helical track, SO crystal, calorimeter crystal, and things like that that were specific to HEP. And actually, JL4 used it, and CDF used it, and we use it now in Atlas. So there's a case of, of just finding just the HEP specific things that you can put in.
Yeah.
Once within the context of some framework.
I don't mind providing all these libraries or whatever, which are very specific to ING physics, as long as they are pure C++, which doesn't require any extra libraries, doesn't rely on root or something.
Well, these were extensions of Open Inventor, so if you weren't using,
Yeah,
say it's in the
yeah,
context of that toolkit, if you're going to use that toolkit, it's not going to do you any good. I think maybe the thing to do is to have, you not just have like the functional diagram or the requirements of an event display, but you have to realize maybe that there's different styles of event displays and have two functional diagrams. One which is,
Yeah. But we have two at the moment. Exactly this. I mean, we have two lists of requirements in there. One for outreach, one for expert.
Right.
And we don't.
Yeah.
I agree. It
I
could
would
be
say
one with a different mode, but
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like
It's
from
easy
the,
to subtract.
the
Okay,
use
so-
case.
Go for the
So
most
ours is
complex
actually
one.
drifting more towards the outreach one now, so it'll be usable offline.
Yeah.
But we're gonna need two people to support it pretty soon because there'll be different things again. Most likely, you're gonna find that you have limited time now to work on both on VP1 and VP1 Lite because they're in the end there'll be two different products.
I don't know, I think that if you go for the most complex one, and then it's easy to subtract that. I mean, to subtract the options, that should be easy.
Not necessarily, though. I mean, like for example, you have one that requires framework for the particular experiment, and then that particular experiment outputs in root format, so you need to do all that, right? And then sometimes the problem is just distribution. I mean, like for example, for our case, the displays used by students in high schools and universities. So, downloading anything, even downloading something might not be possible in some of these restrictive environments.
Yeah, so you want like a web-based thing.
So that's an extreme environment in the sense where you can't even download anything to maybe the school computer. So we have a browser-based version that just runs from a web page, or you can just run it.
How then you don't? Yeah.
So then so there's some. I mean, maybe these shouldn't be the use cases that drive future 10-year development for higher energy physics, but it is a use case that we've had to kind of fulfill.
Yeah, but actually, all these frameworks, like Unity or whatever, they do make also web pages.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in some cases, even getting a plugin, from Unity or something like that, where it's something. I mean, but you can't output like WebGL from Unity. So I mean that's a way of fulfilling that as well. So.
Yeah.
But okay, so what is wrong with what we already like? The expert one, the outreach one. The outreach one is lightweight and it's in Unity or whatever. The other one is based on the experiment framework, operates on root files, condition databases, and so on. And we get conversion from the expert one.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think you have to realize that we have these two, you have these two, and each one has a set of drawbacks. So if you could actually remove some of the drawbacks from one, like in other words, if you could make your outreach one show a little bit more of the actual data, that would be good. If you could make your expert one a little less dependent on the on some huge software library while maintaining the functionality, that would be good too. May not be possible, but
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it. But
And I mean, even the one that maybe the public might use. You know, you might make choices that make the interface more user friendly.
Yeah.
For example, because you have to, because otherwise people aren't going to use it.
I mean,
Right.
And then the one that's for
user-friendly
the
interface is must.
experts might not be that user friendly.
yeah, you have to remember that people debug reconstruction code with these things too.
Yeah. So,
And then, one thing that is coming to my mind, for Run 3, we will have a continuous feed out, for example, in Alice. And here, we have suddenly to visualize very different things because we will have time frames, and we don't, only at the very end in the ESP, the ODs, we will have single events. But otherwise, what you want people to visualize, or the physicists, they will want to see what is in the time frame. So,
I mean, you have like a film, like frames of a kid?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
So how do you do that? Because we don't trigger anymore. We don't. You see, until very late, you don't have single events.
I mean, you could use the frame buffer for that thing.
Yeah. So we are. Simply that you have the 4 dimensions of in.
There's going to be problem on so many levels.
Yes. Well, we have a few more years to solve it.
But I don't know. Like I would start with saying that like minimum requirement is to have network.
To have network.
Network connectivity. I would go with this. That should be like fair. That you have. Which today it's really.
Well, I think we need to discuss all of these requirements.
But then, I think we need to put down the requirements. Maybe, I don't know, in the Google Doc, even we do it by experiment first.
Sure.
Yes. By the 2 or 3 types of display we have, so that then it's easier to type.
Yeah, the requirements functionality on the outside, and then the different building block. You know, the different functional pieces that you break it down. It may not break down, and different solutions may break it down in 2 different ways. For example, if you're really doing a 2-dimensional event display, which is what Atlantis is, then you don't need anything to tessellate. You don't need to tessellate anything. By the way, 2-dimensional event displays are not useless. There's a lot of people who argue that they give you. I know, but for example, in CDF we had. You take for example the. Let's not be detector specific. Let's just say you have a drift chamber with the sense wires going down the axis, right? Now the hits. What do the hits look like? They're about maybe 80 microns in one direction, and they're maybe 10 centimeters in the other direction. So when you try to visualize those hits, it's a complete mess if you don't happen to be looking right down the sense wires. And so there's detectors like that. When you look at the SCT and how we display the hits, it's really not useful. But in one dimension, projected into the plane, that's the first thing you do with the TRT, the barrel TRT. You do that too. So this is probably not a conversation for only between 2 sessions of chat. It sounds like it's a subject for a workshop or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we didn't plan to solve everything.
No.
I know, but I thought we were going out with the events.
Going out with the
Yeah, well, we could finish. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, compile it and it's done.
Oh, you mean the white
want,
paper? You mean write the right paper? Okay.
We wanted to have a topic group for maybe in spring sometime.
Where are you guys all based?
CERN.
CERN. Chicago. Pittsburgh.
Do we have people from the
I was just going to ask that actually, because I noticed there were a couple people on your list in the very beginning,
So
and I know, and because I've chatted with them about WebGL at CERN several times, so I was wondering if they were involved. But, so the LHCb, at least 2 people that I know that were on your list originally.
okay.
I know that they were working on a WebGL display, so I was curious if they were. Maybe they said not interested. I don't know, but that's.
Thomas, are you Alice as well?
I'm CMS.
CMS. Okay.
So those are on the list
also those are interesting.
Okay.
So yes,
Who
we
were
are.
there?
So you created this
Yeah, one
based
moment.
your
I think
in
this is
your
Yes. Yeah.
so I sent more or less 60 yeah, mails, and so now I have a list of
It's probably the
16
simplest
or
topic that goes
17.
into the white paper. The hard topic is
I mean,
into the data,
no,
file transfers,
Yeah,
trigger
it's
rates.
not so simple.
You also contact some notes.
We didn't do anything
yes,
to survive.
yeah. We have yeah. Okay. So we have two.
So what,
Yeah, it's
what happened with
this
heptans?
list. We
In the
have
sense of, I remember,
Well,
I wasn't really
because
involved in it, but I knew people that were involved with it. And
Guy,
then
for example, and from CMS, there was Lucas and George.
yeah, Lucas and George, I know, yeah.
So okay, so it depends
So,
what you
so
mean by
what? I guess my question is, are we reinventing HepBiz? You know what I mean? Like, what's
Well,
It's not-
okay, so
it's
first
not here
HepBiz
now.
was a series of visualization workshops,
Yeah, yeah.
and
They are people,
this was leading up to when all the experiments were basically preparing their future. So there was Babar and Bell, there was CDF2, there was D0, there was and there was the LHC, and so it was a good time to get people to talk together, to talk about what they were going to do, and to try to put things in common. I guess it's what we're doing now, I guess, but it's spontaneous. It wasn't guided by any funding agency or big effort.
Right.
And so I actually hijacked the name HepBiz to give it to a library of these objects that,
Right.
to the extent that people used, Open Inventor, it was useful. So
not yet.
I actually don't know whether it still is part of JAN4 visualization or even if JAN4 visualization is part of JAN. I don't think anybody uses it, so these classes are still around in Atlas, CDF.
I've
Nobody
used
uses.
SO Spline?
So do you guys do you use Open Inventor?
No, we had two displays.
You had Iguana, right?
Iguana, and then we had a successor that was kind of
Zavi and Company, right? From
yeah.
San Diego.
Well, that there was Iguana, and then there's
why
a
we are mentioning
group-based one
There
that's
is also
now
new
that was
accelerator
Zavi and Mateusz and these guys, and I worked on it for a year or so. And then we had another one that was kind of
there will be an
more
experiment.
the Coin 3D, SOQT,
Yes.
QT sort of thing,
Right.
which
We're starting.
kind of died off. But then I kind of took some of the functionality. There were two different use cases that had to be combined, and so I ended up. It turned out that using WebGL was a good way to fulfill both of them
Okay.
and make my life easier, basically. So,
I mean, it's not that much effort to do all this stuff yourself. There's not that much in the library that you wouldn't do yourself. One thing which is very useful is a thing called the detector tree kit, where you click on objects and you go down into you reveal more. You basically drill down into the geometry.
yeah.
And we actually adapted that. We didn't take it as it is because we don't even want to put that geometry in memory
But no, otherwise you can try to
until it's requested.
exactly, yeah.
It's not just a question of hiding it, turning it on graphically, but not
Yeah,
even putting it
sometimes
into memory.
Yeah.
So we actually navigate,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the screen, we navigate the geometry down to the lowest.
Yeah, okay.
level stuff.
So we said we will try to involve Fair.
So
At
Thomas
GSI,
and Alia, they stopped working on visualizations of
So,
Thomas and Alia.
Okay.
experiment and the
Alia and Mateusz.
Sorry, Natasha.
Mateusz, yeah, they're still working. Yeah. Mateusz
So
is
those
on
are
the.
future
Yeah, yeah,
experiments. So
FCC.
they are they are
Fair I
see.
didn't know
In fact,
about.
he put some
they
comments
will
on
be
the
dated in the news.
the Google doc.
I cannot.
Yeah,
Because
the
neither
accelerator
can
is called
I mean,
Nika.
You could ask him yourself, but my impression is that Alia is maybe doing more of
It's really
the work, because at least in the sense that when there are requests for bug fixes and features, she's the one who replies. So, yeah, so they're still working on that.
I know that they were trying something like for 4K displays to make it very close.
So, do parallel sessions start?
Yeah, it's only one more question for the
detector description, do we want to discuss it within this working group, or do we want to have a separate one? Because it's as versatile in groups, no? So it's so yeah.
Well, I'm very interested in talking about it. I don't know whether we do it inside of this group or not, because I think that there's really, it could very well be that the tree of geometries that you use for your description, if you take out the stuff like radiation length and interaction length, it's the same, which is little overhead. This is not much data. It's really the same as what you need for visualization for these objects. So it could be that in scene graph technology is established in graphics, and what we have in Atlas right now is scene graph technology for describing detector as well. So I think it.
So we want it in a separate.
I'll tell you what. Let's talk about it inside of our group. And then once we've talked about it, we can find out who else is talking about it inside of other groups.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Okay.
Maybe you should also contact Joao from Media Lab because he works with this.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was wondering that too.
Yeah, and I think we should also enlarge our things that, there's outreach, there's expert, and then there's
So
video production.
yeah, there's one rather important kind of application. So at CERN, they are organizing all these safety courses and stuff. And I noticed only when doing really this visualization how important that is. Because like you go down into cavern into US 50, and it's very claustrophobic. And if you would need to go out quickly, that would be really difficult.
What's his name? Marcio used to want to have visualization of where people were in the pit.
Yeah. So what is really important application is to do these trainings, and they do really expensive trainings. Actually, Luminous, the LHC people, actually we should including Ignacio in this list. So he's from Luminous, the LHC. So they also made a VR application so that they could train people building where they should go, what should they do where, when, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that is one, I think, very important kind of role of this visualization.
Yeah, maybe we.
You imagine now you are simulating gas leak, yeah, somewhere.
Yesterday there was a talk about virtual visits.
Virtual what?
Yeah,
Virtual visits.
Yeah,
virtual
that's
visits, yeah.
different kind of.
So this is again on.
That's not
Yeah,
really
it's different, but
virtual,
it's another. I mean, here then you are not only talking about even display, you are talking really about visualization of our experiments. The
No,
cameras,
so that one, virtual visits has nothing to do with visualization.
This is okay.
Okay.
It's just a conversation with people.
It's just connecting
I
via
didn't watch.
Skype.
Oh, very disappointed. We should propose something else for virtual visit. I mean, you should do virtual visits from home with your Vive or whatever.
Yeah, that you
working
can already
in
do.
And then you kill zombies.
Laboratory.
Yes, in the ellipse.
Come on, why everybody asks for zombies? Everybody asks for zombies.
Yeah.
We have human sacrifices too.
Yeah.
What's annoying about that is that the film is complete bullshit, and the production quality is excellent.
Which one?
Oh, these
These.
actually, there's a guy who I gave a tour to who was really strange. I had to explain to him not only about the Higgs mechanism, but also that the Earth was round. Because he didn't believe it. He was from Iran, and he didn't know that. And he started sending me all of these things about, what was quote unquote really going on at CERN.
Mhm.
And once you go to one of these links, you realize that there's a whole. This is a whole genre of film about opening gateways to hell. You've seen this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pictures of that.
CERN was not delighted with the some of those videos.
Oh,
The human sacrifice. Well,
I was
they
totally.
say they code all of them now, and there will be sanctions.
Oh, good.
Oh, come on,
Because they were.
it
You could
was
see
fun.
there was a window in this thing, and you could see a reflection. You could see they were in quarter
No,
one
they
D.
code,
Quarter
but it's
1D of
IT, I think, who found it.
Okay.
Because it's easy to track.
Do we know
And
who
they were not very. I mean, I think they didn't think of the impact, so they didn't hide when they were uploading the video to YouTube.
I mean,
and stuff like
look,
that.
students,
So then IT
there is a
was very
custom.
easy to find.
There is a custom that some students always, every year, make some kind of joke. I remember a few years back, I came to a restaurant one, and outside, all the chairs and all the tables were
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
on top of each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, at least that stays within CERN.
Yeah.
Here,
What the
the
hell?
problem is that they hurt
It's
the
custom.
image of CERN.
Mhm.
So immediately it was.
Yeah.
There is always a limit. But okay.
Yeah.
I will go to the parallel
Okay, sure.
sessions now.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And I will send,
Send the video.
yes,
Yeah.
also